the redecoration of his Downing Street flat.
13 months.
As for the latest stuff that he's bringing up, he should know that I paid for Downing Street refurbishment personally, Mr. Speaker, and I contrast it. Any further declaration that I have to make, I will, if any, I will be advised upon by Lord.
Let's ask it a different way. Either, this is the initial invoice, Prime Minister, initial invoice, either the taxpayer paid the initial invoice, or it was the Conservative
Please
Party,
talk about what's going on in
or
Jerusalem.
it was a private donor, or it was the Prime Minister. So I'm making it easy for the Prime Minister. It's now multiple choice. There are only 4 options. It should be easier than finding the chatty rat, Mr. Speaker.
Thanks for all you
So
do.
I asked the Prime Minister
Take
again,
time for yourself,
who
more
paid
untouched
the
grass.
initial invoice, Prime Minister, for the redecoration of the Prime Minister's flat? The initial invoice.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I've given him...
Oh, God. The way that this works, where they have to sit back down and stand back up again, makes it so dastardly. Absolutely diabolical.
The answer, and the answer is I have covered the costs, and I think most people will find it absolutely bizarre. And of course, there's an electoral commission investigating this, and I can tell him that I've conformed in full with the code of conduct, with ministerial code, and officials have been have been advising me throughout this whole thing. But I think people will think it absolutely bizarre that he is focusing on this issue.
Mr. Speaker, it's been widely reported that Lord Brownlow, who just happens to have been given...
One of the rules in the Parliament is you can't even call anyone a lawyer. Liar? Lawyer. What am I doing?
...a peerage by the Conservative Party, was asked to donate £58,000 to help repay for the cost of this refurbishment. Can the Prime Minister, if he's so keen to answer, confirm, did Lord Brownlow make that payment for that purpose?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think I've answered this question several times now, and the answer is that I have covered the costs. I have met the requirements that I've been obliged to meet in full. And when it comes to the taxpayer and the costs of number 10 Downing Street, it was the previous Labour government. I think Tony Blair racked up a bill of £350,000. And I think what the people of this country want to see is minimising taxpayer expense. They want to see a government that's focused on their needs and delivering more homes for the people of...
I've just lost the plot entirely. I don't even know what's happening, dude.
Of this country and cutting council tax, which is what we're doing. And it's on that basis that I think people are going to judge our parties on May the 6th.
Keir Starmer.
Answer the question. That's what the public scream at their televisions every PMQs. Answer the question. The Prime Minister hasn't answered the question.
I mean, Starmer's fucking dog shit too. Like, he's a conservative Labour guy, so he's also fucking dog shit. The only difference is, I mean, look, British politics is turning into US politics again, where the only saving grace of the Labour Party in that circumstance is that they're not the Tories. You know? They're all elitist dipshits who are terrible.
He knows he hasn't answered the question. He never answers the question. The Prime Minister will be aware that he's required to declare any benefits that relate to his political activities, including loans or credit arrangements, within 28 days. 28 days, Prime Minister. Yes.
What?
He will
Vote
also
Nico
know that
for
any
London
donation
Mayor.
must be recorded in the register of ministers' interests, and that under the law, any donation of over £500 to a political party must be registered and declared. So the rules are very clear. The Electoral Commission now think that there are reasonable grounds to suspect that an offence or offences may have occurred. That's incredibly serious. Can the Prime Minister tell the House, does he believe that any rules or law...
I mean, they caught him in 4K. He fucking originally... What? So he originally remodeled his house on the taxpayer's dime, bruv. And it's absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. It's corruption, bruv. Do you have a license for that fucking wallpaper, bruv? Do you? Do you have a license for that wallpaper? That is what I'm here to ask on this glorious day. Unacceptable. Dastardly.
Laws have been broken in relation
Parker
to the
Rudy
refurbishment
for the 18
of the
months.
Prime Minister's flat.
Prime Minister.
No, I don't, Mr. Speaker.
don't.
What I believe has been strained to breaking point is the credulity of the public. He has half an hour every week to put serious and sensible questions to me about the state of the pandemic, about the vaccine rollout, about what we're doing to support our NHS, about what we're doing to fight crime, about what we're doing to bounce back from this pandemic, about the
I love the deflection here, where it's like, oh, you have so much time to ask me good questions, and instead you're spending it on my wallpaper. It's like, bitch, but you're also kind of the person who is, using taxpayer dime when everyone's suffering out here, fixing up your fucking flat, bruv.
the economic recovery, about jobs for the people of this country. And he goes on and on, Mr. Speaker, about wallpaper when, as I've told him umpteen times now, I paid for it.
Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, can I remind the Prime Minister of the Nolan Principles, which are meant to govern the behaviour of those in public office? They're these: selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability,
And no wallpaper on the flat on Downing Street.
openness, honesty, and leadership.
Yeah, dude. I think about Boris
There's a
Johnson
new
when I
icon
think
at
about all
18
that.
months.
And no wallpaper on the taxpayer's dime, bruv.
Instead, what do we get from this Prime Minister and this Conservative government? Dodgy contracts, jobs for their mates, and cash for access. And who's at the heart of it? The Prime Minister, Major Sleaze, sitting
No
there.
wallpaper without representation, bruv.
Good luck shitting on Boris right now. I feel like his base of support is solidified, especially after there's like anti-lockdown protests going around in the country. I don't know
It's
what
not
his like
Tuesday.
approval rating
It's
looks like
Tuesday,
currently.
bruv.
Probably not great, but didn't he recently say that he would rather pile bodies than go through another lockdown? After his leaked text, it's actually starting to drop finally. It's at like 46%. Bro, dude, British people, look, Americans, let me tell you something. Okay? You, as Americans, assume that British people, because they have this like accent, are proper and intelligent, okay? But literally, in order to win over the British people, all you need to do is say, we're getting the fucking pints back, bruv. We're opening back the pubs. We're opening back the pubs, all right? No fucking closings on the pubs, bruv. Right? And we're saving football. We're saving football. And that's it. There you go. You secured the bag. Half the fucking country is now on your side. Especially with an ineffective, feckless, conservative-ass Labour Party that is too busy, or that spent the better half of fucking last year infighting and and going through like internal corruption and still trying to fucking beat a dead horse. That dead horse being, unfortunately, Corbyn. It's just terrible.
Rest in peace to the ultimate
American
STEM
calling the
lord,
Labour Party
Apollo 11
conservative? No, I said
astronaut Michael Collins.
conservative Labour. What do you mean, American calling the Labour Party conservative? The Labour Party is significantly more leftist than the Democratic Party, but I mean, there is what are we going to act like? Are we gonna act like in the absence of Corbyn, there wasn't like a very conservative momentum, a neoliberal streak within the Labour Party that they straight up turned back to? Anyway, the only thing further left in the UK is the NHS. Everything else is way worse than America. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big tiny thing though. You know what I'm saying? Labour is center at this point, and we can all thank Blair for that. Are you gonna watch the KW video one last time, Hasan? No, probably not. Starmer described as part of the soft left pack within the Labour Party. They tend to agree on the expansions on healthcare and social security, but have fairly neoliberal positions on trade and foreign relations. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's the Blairite scourge that has rotted Labour from within, as far as I understand. So, are we gonna act like Tony Blair didn't exist? I mean, not we. You're talking about the people in the chat that are saying like Labour is so much more progressive. Like, fuck you. There's so much more leftists. Like, yeah, there are more leftists in the American Democratic Party, but the American Democratic Party is literally fucking more right wing and more reactionary. Maybe not on social issues, but certainly on economic issues than the motherfucking Tories. I mean, seriously. Think about that. Anyway, but while you think about that, another thing you should be thinking about outside of Boris's beautiful head of hair is the fact that, do I have a license for British broadcasting? I do not. But also, it is top of the hour. I wonder if you know, Tokyo, Fast and Furious. Dun dun dun. Yeah. Hey, Fast and Furious.